The first method I'm going to look at is the column method, which you will be familiar with from school, where we line one number up on top of another. But my first tip here is to take your lined paper and turn it around. If, like me, you're not terribly tidy with your workings, then to turn your paper around provides some really natural columns for you to use if you haven't already got square paper. Okay. Right, and the next step is to just mentally note what the 234 represents, and that represents 4 units, 3 tens, and 2 hundreds. Okay, and the 67, that's 6 tens and 7 units. So that information's what you don't have to write it down, but sometimes it can help if you know that you tend to line these up wrongly. And again, you can pop them on here if you wish to. Okay, and obviously I'm going to do that for demonstration purposes. Now, if we had a longer number, that would then go up to the thousands and the 10,000s and so on. I'll leave those there, but we don't need them for this particular question. Okay, so now the 2 in the hundreds must sit under the hundreds on here, so 234. Okay, and we've got the 67 starts under the tens. We know that, but when we do it in a hurry, we're more likely to make a mistake. Okay, so draw your little line here. Make sure that you write addition, write the plus. So if you do happen to make a mistake, the examiner can see that you knew which operation to carry out to solve the problem. So make sure it's really clearly stated what you're intending to do. Okay, so now what we need to do is add down the units. We've got 4 plus 7 gives an answer of 11. And that 11 gets written under the tens and the units. Okay, now we'll have a look at our tens. We've got the 3 and the 6 at the top, but we also need to pick up that 1 at the bottom. So 3 plus 6 is 9, plus the 1 at the bottom gives an answer of 10, and that goes across to the column on the left, and the 0 sits here. Okay. And the final column, we've got the hundreds, we've got the 2, but don't forget to pick up the 1 at the bottom, which gives us an answer of 301. So the answer to this question is 301. Okay. Now mentally, you might do it in a slightly different way when we're out and about and we don't have a piece of paper. Sometimes we chunk our addition or we partition it. So let me show you what I mean by that. Is that 67 is made up of 60 plus 7. So it may be that in your head, you might decide to do 234 as your starting point. You might choose to add 60 first of all, which gives you 294, and then take the 294 and add 7 to give you 301. If that's how you think things through, then by all means then do that. And what you're essentially doing is you're using an invisible number line in your head. And you did your 234 and you added your 60 first, gives you 294, and add the 7, gives you 301. If you find it easier to visualize on paper by drawing the number line, that's also a perfectly valid method. And that's your addition.